A three-way battle for James Rodriguez could be unfolding in the Premier League. Romelu Lukaku wants to make a move to Serie A. Bayern Munich have named their limit for signing Leroy Sane. We've got a roundup of all the transfer rumours, and of course, we have today's Friday feels. Now, more coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. And this is the trophy we got for winning a football tournament. So, first off, that's you, James Rodriguez. Now, I know we've been speaking about him so much recently because no one knows where he's going to end up. We've said before that Bayern Munich don't want him, Real Madrid don't want him back, so it looks like he could be heading to the Premier League. All three of Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester United could do with James Rodriguez in their squad, and they're all said to be interested in the 27-year-old Colombian. Now, there was a clause in Bayern Madrid's loan contract which said they could sign him for £37 million. However, I'm not so sure whether or not that figure applies to if they're just signing him directly from Real Madrid. Either way, Bayern Munich could buy him and then sell him on for a bit more money to make a nice bit of profit. As to where he'll actually play better in the Premier League, well, I think he could fit in at all three, with Manchester United being the most likely because they don't have that star player, especially if they lose Paul Pogba. At Liverpool, he'd definitely do well to fit in with the likes of Mane, Salah and Firmino, although he may not get as much game time as those three. And at Arsenal, he'll be playing when Ozil can't be bothered. Next up though, and to Romelu Lukaku's move to Serie A, which he has spoken about in the past. However, it could be to Inter Milan rather than Juventus. The striker could be joining Antonio Conte, who looks set to become Inter Milan's new manager, if they secure a Champions League football on the final day of the season this weekend by beating Empoli. If that happens, Conte will come in and he'll bring in Romelu Lukaku, just like he wanted to do at Chelsea a couple of years ago. He was intent on bringing the striker back to Stamford Bridge after he left a few years earlier, but instead the Chelsea board went out and brought him Alvaro Morata, and we all know how that one turned out. So a few years later, he may actually be able to work with a striker in the hope of taking Inter Milan back to the top of European football and maybe even challenging for the Serie A title, although that looks a little unlikely. The one stipulation for Manchester United to let him go is that they want Ivan Perisic in return. The Croatian winger was linked to Arsenal last season, but that move didn't quite materialise, so he could be moving to Old Trafford instead this summer. And next up to something we talked about a little bit yesterday, and it's Leroy Sane's potential exit from Manchester City and to Bayern Munich. Now, it's clear that everything isn't okay with Sane at City. Whether he's not happy or whether Guardiola's not happy with him, we don't quite know. Guardiola has said that he's been offered a new contract and he's happy for him to stay, but that he can't guarantee anybody that they'll be getting enough playing time. Of course, Sane wants to be playing, so he could find himself at Bayern Munich. They, of course, have just lost Ribéry and Robben, who have both left the club. Alphonso Davies is a youngster who isn't quite ready for the first team just yet. And with Gnabry and Coman, he'll have some excellent competition, but those two are always injured, so Sane would pretty much be guaranteed a start. The one stumbling issue, as of course these days, is money. Bayern Munich have said they do not want to spend any more than €80 million on Sane, whereas Manchester City have set their asking price at a whopping €110 million. I'm sure they can find some common ground in between, and we may see Sane heading to the Allianz Arena in the next few weeks. So next up, do a roundup of the gossip before we head into the weekend, where Fulham are interested in signing Newcastle's Dwight Gale for around $20 million should they lose Aleksandar Mitrovic this summer. Leeds are interested in bringing Fabian Delph back to the club where he started his career. Manchester United are waiting in the wing should Matthijs de Ligt's move to Barcelona not come off. They'll be offering him a bumper deal to try and bring him to Old Trafford. And Arsenal want to bring Bournemouth's Ryan Fraser to the Emirates for around £25 to £30 million. And lastly but not least, we come to our Friday feels. This is where you guys make a prediction on all the weekend's football. And for this week, I also want to know what you think we should be predicting during the summer transfer window. Do we really predict deals or transfers? Because they could be a pretty long-winded, and you may have to wait a few weeks to find out if you were correct or not. Let me know your thoughts on the Friday feels down below. But for one last time this season, let's predict some of the football over the weekend. Two of the biggest games are the cup finals in Germany and Spain this weekend. For the DFB Pokal, I'm actually going to go for a win for RB Leipzig over Bayern Munich, a 2-1 victory. And as for Barcelona against Valencia, I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Lionel Messi's Barcelona, seeing them the domestic double again. So there you have it. That's all from me today for the Daily News. And that's all from me for the next week and a bit. I'll be on holiday next week, but of course Ed will be filling in, and Paddy and a few others will be appearing on the channel as well, with all of the content that we've got coming up on Onefootball. So let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Smash the like button, you can click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until about 10 days time, I will see you guys later.